Let's get serious business mode. Let's talk some Star Atlas. This is going to be nuts. I have to say, before I even start this video, welcome to DG360. Hit the like button if you happen to like any of this. Hit the dislike button if you happen to dislike any of it. But don't like or dislike based upon the title that you're seeing behind me. This is a very polarizing issue. Crypto, Web3 gaming, right? Play and earn games, or I think I'm going to evolve it from play and earn to play and own, because that's really what it is. I'm going to talk about this whole space right now, but there's something that's happened in the crypto industry that has been just like implosive. What has happened, DG, before I even start with the Montoya video, where it's very clickety clackety? I have to say, I'm gonna shame him for this, because like I know a lot of us do this, but I just wanted to shame Montoya. So Montoya, if you're watching,
shame.
Just let me do this, because
shame.
It's a very clickety clackety title, and I'm not quite sure exactly how much truth is behind this, but we're going to dig into this because I really am interested in the Web3 gaming space. And I really think that there could be some potential here, even though right now it's completely a mess. It is the Wild West, but it's even worse than the Wild West. It has gone down a cliff. And that is because of this gentleman, Sam Bankman-Fried. He's a clown. Okay, he took a lot of people's money. He did a lot of bad things with it. Very similar to Enron. Very similar to a lot of the implosions we've seen in the past, but now in the crypto industry. And who was he? He was the CEO of a very large centralized exchange. What is a centralized exchange, man? I could go into all this. I could teach you everything there is to know about Web3 gaming, blockchain, all the different cryptos, their utilities, what they do. I mean, that's like a 3-hour-long conversation, but I'm going to try and narrow it down a little bit. Here's the CEO of FTX, which was the second largest exchange, right, where you could trade cryptos. And I believe stocks, or they were at least heading that direction. I had an FTX account. I got everything out. Once I smelled the trouble, I moved it. If you're keeping crypto on an exchange, get it off, get a hardware wallet, put it in your own wallet, get it into cold storage, get it off these exchanges, because right now trust is completely severed in this industry, and it's going to take years for people to trust again. And that's what's happened. This is the .com explosion that happened, or implosion that happened in the 2000s and early 2000s. It's happening now in crypto, and you can see it in the prices of all crypto just going down because of people like Sam Bankman-Fried.
Now look at this.
Thank you, I appreciate that, dude. Thanks for that resubscription, man. It keeps us going here, it keeps us fresh, keeps us awesome. Thank you so much. Now, there's other things that have happened. The implosion of Celsius, okay? Alex Mashinsky, the implosion of Voyager. There's so many things that have happened this year. When the federal, when Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, decides to tighten monetary policy, raising the federal interest rate, and it continues to rise, the cost of money goes up, and the tide goes out, and you see who doesn't have their pants on. This clown right here didn't have his pants on. He was doing bad things with people's money. So much so, this is insane. This is his girlfriend, okay, or at least this is what I heard, who is in charge of his trading group, Alameda, which is like a branch off of... I'm going to draw something here for everybody, okay? Because everybody associates FTX with all crypto, and it's a wrong concept. FTX is an exchange like Coinbase is an exchange, like Robinhood is an exchange. Okay, so like there's exchanges. Just because FTX imploded doesn't mean that all crypto is bad. Okay, like that is very false. But one thing that I wanted to draw here for you on my MS Paint board. Okay, here is FTX. We're gonna paint that. We're gonna put that in red because everybody lost their money who held it on the exchange. Terrible. Absolutely deplorable what happened. Okay, here's FTX. All right, let's see. FTX. All right, boom. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, there we go. FTX. Okay, now he had a trading company. Oh God. Oh my God. Okay, this is not going great. Maybe I might just scrap this idea. Okay, trading company here called Alameda. Okay, now that's a big one. That's a big one. Let's just Alameda. Okay, now he was taking money from FTX and he was shoveling it into Alameda without nobody even knew, which is, I don't know. There's going to be a lot uncovered of what happened here, but this is the crazy thing. Okay. This is who he put in charge. Why is my phone? Of course, today my phone's going off. Give me 1 second. My apologies. Mea culpa. All right. This is the CEO of Alameda, who is his girlfriend. This is who was in charge of billions of dollars. Okay. Let's see what the CEO has to say in an interview here.
Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math. Yeah, we don't really do any technical analysis. We tend not to have things like stop losses.
But okay, what is going on? Okay, this is the problem, right? There's no regulation in the space. All right, there's no regulation in the space, right? Crypto is the Wild West. It really is. But just because it's the Wild West doesn't mean there's validity to some of the crypto. There's some crypto out there that actually has utility, that if you stripped it down, you would see value in it and you would see what it has to offer. And you're literally investing in software now. But instead of investing in Microsoft that owned Windows in the 80s and 90s, you're now investing in Windows. Okay, so that's kind of like how I like to use this. You're investing in the software, the blockchain, all right? I'm not going to get too far down the rabbit hole with it because I could spend 3 hours explaining all this stuff. I'm very knowledgeable in this field. I would like to think so. So this is interesting to me, though, and I wanted to follow up on this. This just came through here from the Security Commissions of the Bahamas. There's a media release where they're saying that the Securities Commissions now assumes control of the assets of FTX digital markets, which might be a good thing because what that means is they're taking control away and they're making sure, and they're going to talk with the SEC, they're going to talk with other authorities, and they're going to figure out what type of regulatory action needs to happen. You're going to see a lot of regulations coming down the pipeline, but unfortunately for the crypto space, you're going to see a lot of regulations coming in that a lot of old people who have no idea how technology works are going to rule on. So you're probably going to see next year a bunch of regulation in the space from people who have no clue what blockchain is, which might dampen the space in terms of innovation and therefore set us back to the Stone Age. And everybody working on this technology is going to say, peace out, America, and go to other countries, which really is not what America's about. Okay, so I hopefully the SEC comes in. I don't have a lot of faith in Gary Gensler, but hopefully the SEC comes in and regulates the space properly. I doubt that's going to happen because government. All right, welcome, introvert. Welcome to the family. It's always nice to see new faces. But this might be a good thing for people. People might start to receive their funds again. Who knows? I feel so sorry for people who had FTX accounts. And like I said, if you have anything on an exchange, take it out, put it in cold storage, and go to sleep. Because this whole space is literally on fire. Now, in regards to Star Atlas, in regards to Web3 gaming, which I'm really interested in, that is really in baby infancy phase. Michael Wagner has put out this post here. I'm going to put all the links in the description. And everybody thinks that they're dead. Now, they might be dead. Michael Wagner, the CEO of Star Atlas, and Star Atlas, a Web3 game using Solana blockchain, actually might be defunct, okay? And that is because they held FTX token. How much? I'm not sure. I tried to investigate. I tried to see a balance sheet, but they are a private company and they do not have to report, right? And I would love to see what they have on their balance sheet. Now here, is Michael Wagner's response. He says, I've been conservative in my response about the outgoing situation at FTX. I felt it prudent to wait more clarity on how these events would unfold, probably because he's holding a lot of FTX token, okay, which was valuable. I think it was like $22, $23 per token. The FTX token, by the way, was a token by this gentleman here with his company that had $22 per token value, and now I think is like $1 and change now. And God only knows how much Michael Wagner held. If he held a lot, that's really gonna hurt. That's really gonna hurt. I need to get more data, but let's read his response here, and I'm going to show you more data actually. He says, I am responsible for reporting on the impact to I think Atmos token, it's an ATMTA, I'm not quite sure, and Star Atlas by association. Atma had material cash exposure on deposit at FTX, or that might be his company. ATMTA might be his company, I'm not quite sure. But they had material exposure on deposit at FTX. Oof. This was a facility we utilized for cash transfer to our bank to manage operating expenses and generate low risk yield on short-term treasury assets. Ooh. Which means I think they left money on the FTX exchange, which, you know, that wasn't smart. If a guy like me can figure out to take money off of FTX like a regular retail guy, it's pretty amazing. If a corporation left it on, which, you know, I can understand people that aren't too knowledgeable in the space that left it on thinking nothing was going to happen. But, you know, like when you smell trouble like that, you move your assets right off and you make sure they're safe. He said they had low risk yield on short-term treasury assets. He believed the liquid cash position to be custody with a reliable and trustworthy institution, put his confidence and trust into an individual he believed to be a stalwart of the industry. I have to admit, I thought Sam Bankman-Fried knew his shit too, but really, he handled this whole situation very badly. And he also hurt everybody in the space. Trust in the space is completely gone. He said, clearly trust has been betrayed, poor timing, and a failure to have sufficient backup measures in place to respond expeditiously to situations such as this resulted in a compromised position. That is on me, and for that, I am sorry. So that is something that I'm very shocked at seeing. I don't like when my leaders don't think 3 steps ahead. I just don't. I'm not a big fan of people that don't think ahead with other people's money. You know, there are a lot of people who bought Atlas token. There's a lot of people who believe in the project. And I'm not a fan of somebody who does not take the steps necessary to protect people's money, assets, worth, value. So that is a definite mark against Michael Wagner. With that said, my confidence, I said condolences because that's what it feels like. With that said, my confidence in this community, this team and product we are developing has never been stronger. Well, hopefully they have enough to cover their asses. In a time when we should be celebrating success, we are faced with challenging yet surmountable obstacles. Well, yeah. I mean, the whole industry is. Our team's presence at Breakpoint was a monumental victory. Yeah. So Solana had this event called Breakpoint. It was a really fun event. It was a great time. You got to see everybody developing on Solana blockchain. There is a business there. There is an industry there. Solana's going to get hit hard. Hopefully Solana survives this. I think personally they will, not financial advice, but they're gonna keep going down for a little bit. And hopefully they can survive this bear winter, because people on the Solana blockchain, they are creating really cool things. There's a lot of really neat projects going on, and I hope Solana isn't dead as well. We shall see as time unfolds. Let's skip some of this. Regarding the impact to Solana, my resolve here again has never been stronger. Breakpoint was a tremendous, active, and vibrant event representing an enthusiastic community and an ecosystem of blah, blah, blah. Token volatility is not representative of strength of the technology. I agree with that. I fervently believe today, as I have historically, that Solana is the most performant and capable protocol. Transactions per second, amazing. Fees are so low. I agree with him on that. I think Solana is a great blockchain. Particularly for building Web3 native gaming. I think you're going to see a lot of gaming on Solana blockchain, and the open metaverse of the future, blah, 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 blah. And our core thesis that all gamers will want to truly own their own assets is as strong as ever, which is why I'm changing I went from play. We all knew this space was called play to earn. Then we called it play and earn because I said, listen, this isn't really play to earn because I don't want to feel like I'm grinding for cash. Some developers are going to create video games that make you feel like you're working for the crypto. They're not going to be successful. So then I said, let's say play and earn. Because I feel like if you're playing and having fun and you can earn money, great. So we're using that terminology. But today I'm changing it. Today I'm changing this and I'm upgrading it and I'm evolving it to play and own.
I'm in a fountain.
Yes, all things good come from the banana fountain. To the countless people negatively impacted by likely fraudulent, yeah, he's feeling sorry, following the news, blah, 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 blah. Over the course of the week, we reached out to available relationships with our network to communicate our strategy on capital acquisition. That does not sound good. When a company says they need capital acquisition, it means, oh, holy shit, we're broke. We need money. Now, they probably have enough money to survive maybe 8 months out, 9 months out, but they're going to have to sell ships like crazy. They're going to have to literally sell ships like crazy. So you might see a ton of ship production coming from Star Atlas to make up for that. But they also have to get that venture capitalist money. Which is probably going to be very hard given the market conditions, given the fact that we're heading towards recession, given the fact that it might be a depression. I mean, like what I'm seeing right now in the economy is pretty bad. It's probably one of the worst I've seen. And I went through the 2008 financial crisis with mortgage-backed securities. And let me tell you what, that was horrible. But that was like, at least that was like rip the Band-Aid off, right? This is like a slow bleed. Like what's happening in the economy today is like a slow bleed. It's like a vampire that just keeps sucking at your neck. And you're like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? No. Like what's happening in the economy right now? Horrible. So they're looking for capital. Not so great. Now I want to know what's on their balance sheet. Now this is something good for people to know. We'll get to the Montoya video very shortly. I want to hear what Montoya has to say about Star Atlas. But every decent company out there that's involved with Web3 gaming, cryptocurrencies, anything in that space, puts out something called a white paper. You can find this simply by digging. I will put this link in the description when this goes out to YouTube. You go through the white paper and you see what the game's going to be about. You see the economics of the game. You see the tokenomics, which is how they plan on issuing tokens, what's backing the token. Not all of them are great. Not all of these white papers are great. Some of these white papers are absolute trash. Really, when I look at some of these white papers, this one, okay. I mean, like, this wasn't the greatest white paper I've ever read in my entire life. I've went over this. I was like, okay, right? Transparency is always very key when you're looking at anything crypto related. You want to make sure they're very transparent. They put everything out on the line here. When it comes to Star Atlas, out of a 10, I'm going to give it a 5. Like, I'm like middle of the road. What I really want to know is, and what they aren't going to probably release is, how much FTX token did they have? Like, what was the amount of FTX token they had? I would say it was quite a lot, because if they're looking for capital, it means they are actually hurting. Okay? Can they survive? Maybe, if they're really smart. And they have to be a lot smarter than holding what it is that they had on FTX that they lost. They have to think 3 steps ahead. I hope Michael Wagner can do it. I actually want to see this space develop. I thought Star Atlas was possibly going to make it. And trust me, you know, I talk about Star Atlas, and in my Discord, I mean, I get all these crypto bots that come in here. Look at all the, like, I'm not a fan of this. This is one of the reasons why everybody hates the crypto space, because there's so many scammers out there. There's so many snake oil salesmen. All these people who come into my Discord, I talk about Star Atlas, boom. You know, like, this is one of the reasons the industry is rife with snake oil salesmen, and it is the Wild West. It needs regulation. I am in favor for being regulated. It's not a popular opinion, right? But I want regulation to come down. But I want it in an intelligent way. I want it in a way where these people are tech savvy. They know blockchain. And I just know that's not going to be the way it's going to roll out. So it's going to be a very hard year in crypto. This is going to be a very long winter. Winter is coming. And the industry needs a Jon Snow. like the industry needs a Jon Snow. And everybody was banking on this clown being Jon Snow. No. We found out this guy was in fact not Jon Snow. like this guy this guy was the worst thing for the space that ever could ever exist in the space. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to crypto. But not all crypto is bad, and crypto Bitcoin will survive. It's probably going to continue to devalue, but crypto will survive. Bitcoin will survive. Ethereum will survive. Of course, not financial advice, just my opinion. So let us get to Montoya's video entitled "Rip Star Atlas," and I hope it's objective, because I like that for Montoya. Like I think Montoya is an objective type of dude. So let's see what he has to say about this, and hopefully it's not just clickety clack. And I hope I gave you guys a lot of knowledge. I hope that I helped out in determining or helping to determine what may or may not happen with Star Atlas. At least give you a little bit of background before we get into Rip Star Atlas, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I have some potentially devastating news for Star Atlas. Not to be confused with Star Citizen, the game we follow on this channel. Star Atlas, if you don't know, was a game that was trying to be made on the blockchain. They were going to use the same kind of tactics as Star Citizen, even going as far as hiring their own ship devs from Star Citizen to come and make ships in Star Atlas, which is why a lot of ships look very similar, have the same kind of feel to them. And the idea was to sell these ships in Star Atlas as NFTs. Now, when the NFT market was hot, this was an amazing idea. I think they raised, what, $60-90 million, somewhere around there. And things were looking good. Here they're showing you some of the examples of the things they're working on.
Sorry, muted. Very unprofessional. Sorry, Pepe. Sorry. Yes, that was my fault. I'm apologizing to Pepe. What I was saying is that there's ups and downs. This market is cyclical. NFTs will once again become popular. I mean, there's still tons of transactions of NFTs on Solana, even though they're much more reduced in value. This is all the nature of the beast in a free market society, in capitalism, right? There's still demand for it, and it's to be determined what they're going to be worth. But they're still going to be traded. There's still value to them, even though they're so low right now. But there are ups and downs to this market. See, this is how you determine price, the demand, the supply and demand of this, right? The scarcity. There's a lot of things that determine value.
Using Unreal 5, which is a beautiful engine, and I've had my fair amount of criticism for the Star Atlas project, but what I did not expect, and what Star Atlas did not expect, was the collapse of FTX. Now, if you don't follow crypto too closely, don't worry about it. There are a couple of major exchanges in the world which deal with crypto, Binance being one, FTX being another. It was a major exchange. A lot of people had money in there. Among the people that had money in there is none other than Star Atlas. And Star Atlas has taken a huge hit financially.
I think that they have as well. How huge? I'm not quite sure. I wonder if Montoya found any. they're a private company, so they don't have to list what it is that's on their balance sheet. But I think it would be very smart. By the way, Michael Wagner, if you're watching this, or the community manager that's in our Discord of Star Atlas, or the creator of content that's in our Discord of Star Atlas, listen to me, guys. I think it's very prudent that you just post what it is that you guys have on your balance sheet. Like, really. Cloud Imperium does it. They didn't have to do it, but they eventually did, because I would like to think I was the first in the space in Star Citizen that was screaming that I wanted to know what was on the American side of things. We knew what was happening on the UK side of things because of their government, because of their regulatory laws that are in place there. You can check out all businesses and see what they're up to. Everything's transparent over there. In the States, if you're private, you don't have to show it, right? So I was one of the very few in Star Citizen that was screaming, like, what is on this side of the pond? What is going on, Cloud Imperium? We want to see it. And I screamed it over and over. I was the very first to do financial reviews for Cloud Imperium. And I would like to say that I think that I'm one of the reasons why Star Citizen, why Cloud Imperium posted their financials on the American side of things. So that you can thank this.
I'm in a fountain.
You're welcome. I do this from time to time. People tend to listen to me. Sometimes. Let's keep going.
From having the money on this exchange, which is now gone. This is devastating.
Hold on. I want to answer this in chat. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys. Kiss says, I have a question. Once the Star Atlas guys made their cash from the initial bump, why wouldn't they convert that into something more stable? Once people's incomes is dependent, why would they keep their investment in something so volatile? Well, interestingly enough, it's a very speculative space, Kiss. So the answer to that question is, I believe that they thought Solana was going to be much more stable than it was. And so they probably invested a little bit in Solana, but they also probably invested very heavily in FTX. And they thought, hey, FTX is everywhere, right? FTX is on all these commercials. You got famous people like Tom Brady, Kevin O'Leary. You got all these people back in FTX token. You see FTX is on blimps. You see FTX Stadium. You see FTX everything. FTX was blowing up everywhere. Super Bowl commercials. Larry David had a Super Bowl commercial. Like, FTX was everywhere. So everybody thought FTX was stable. And Michael Wagner probably went with that philosophy, Kiss. And what he probably did was just put a whole bunch of FTX on his balance sheet, which I don't think is a smart thing to do. Kiss, you're absolutely right. He should have converted it to something else that's more stable, right? That's a very good question, dude. Very good question.
To the project and plenty of other projects and individuals who had money there too. So I'm reading upwards of only 1.5 years of runway left worth of cash. Others saying that it's as little as 9 months of runway left. Now, this is a very, very big problem, obviously, for...
Woo! They better get busy. They better get busy building ships, man. They better design ships coming. Ships better be coming out of their ass. Ships, they better be farting ships. Hold on, wait a second. What is that? Wait, what? Oh, there's another ship? Oh, okay. I hope it sells. Oh, wait, what? What? Oh, another one? Okay. We got another ship.
Or Star Atlas. And if you watched my previous content on this topic, you will know that my criticism of Star Atlas, I've never called it a scam. My criticism was that if you have the money, and even if you have the ships, all right, the play-to-earn model, playing a game so you can earn money in real life, was a model that I'm just not so sure about, all right? A lot of gamers saying, yeah, I don't think this works. A lot of games go out of their way to ensure that RMT doesn't exist in their games. And now that model's been flipped to people saying, yes, now you can play a game to earn money. That was my one criticism. But the other criticism...
I think it's more than just earning money at this point. I think it's like owning it, like physically owning things. And that's why I'm saying that the space should be called play to own. So now you're going to see that. So, the same way I said the play to earn space should be called play and earn like years ago, and then you started slowly seeing people get hip to it and say play and earn. Now I'm calling it play to own. So what you're going to start seeing is a lot of people start saying play to own. I'm just telling you right now, it did come from here. I want this marked. I want this clipped. I'm calling the space play to own. The space will then become called play to own. Just watch.
was, it doesn't matter how pretty the ships are. It doesn't matter how beautiful the game engine looks. What matters is, at the end of the day, also the gameplay.
Right,
Will people enjoy playing this game? And that was my one major concern. Not that they're using NFTs, not that...
I don't think it sounds... No. Like, I like to own things, you know, because I feel like if I own things, then my own purchasing power and the value of things around me, I'm owning things. I don't own a house, but a lot of you do. I rent, but I own a car. This is the thing. Like, in real life, you're owning things, right? It's not like an egomaniac thing to own things. You own your own assets. You know, like again, you're in a game and you're owning things. That's pretty cool to me. Like that has an appeal to me. I like that. If I can have fun and I can own things, why the F not? Why the F not? You know, I don't think that's egomaniac. But okay, Chrono. I think we differ in opinion on that.
That's going to be play to earn. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. I have my doubts. But can you produce a game that people want to play? What I did not expect.
Yeah. You can own it if it is an NFT, Red Bear, and NFTs will eventually be taken seriously. I mean, again, my opinion, it's going to take a lot of time, right? But eventually, digital assets, like when you own an NFT, and that's what blockchain is for. That's why it's built on Solana blockchain, because everything that you own has a transaction, and it's put as a block on the Solana blockchain, and you can look at it and say, okay, yes, this person owns this. You can then take it and you can sell it in the game, or you can sell it on an exchange. So that means you get actual value from owning something, which you can't do in gaming right now. But that's what Web3 gaming is going to be. So yes, you can actually own things in a video game. Yeah, not
was
in
it
the
to
normal
go
physical way. Well,
this way?
Yes,
not
well,
like this.
Okay,
not like
long
this
discussion right there, Red Bear.
I didn't expect them to be holding a major portion of their funds on FTX. Now, losing that, they have lost all their money to pay people off. And according to a recent video from the CEO himself, there's 233 members of the working in the company all over the world. These are people which will now most likely be laid off.
It needs, first off, we'll get back into this, but first off, in regards of digital assets and owning things, right? This is something that's hard to realize for a lot of people, okay? Do you I don't think many of you remember, because there's probably not a lot of you that are my age here. There are a couple of you here my age. Do you remember when the internet, all everybody said about the internet was it was just email, and people were like, oh, this is just email. You just communicate with people. Oh, there's just messages on here. Oh, it's AOL. Oh, it's just email and messaging people in forum boards. Do you remember that? Do you remember that's everybody, listen, everybody was saying, oh, it's just the internet. Oh, that's all it is. All you can do is message people. All you can do is emails, right? I mean, like, really, you have to be forward thinking here. Like, you have to be very objective when you look at the space, too, because there's tons of speculators in the space. But that does not mean that the space is invalid. Just because you have a few bad apples in the space, a lot, actually, an orchard. There's an orchard of bad apples here, okay? They're literally trying to take money from people. Okay, there's a lot of people out there like that. So now we have to determine who are the good apples and who are the bad apples. Like, who are the good actors in the space and who are the bad actors in the space? And guess what is lacking? Regulation. So once the space is regulated, which is going to take a long time, right? And everything's going to continue to get hammered because regulation coming down the pipe is going to be really bad. I guarantee it. Right? It's going to be bad for innovation. What's going to happen is revolution. This is the new internet. Like this, what is happening right now is the new internet, and we are in the baby phase. Okay? There's a lot of discussion about this. There's a lot of people interested in this. There's a lot of people that want it to fail. Trust me. The legacy banking system, which are the JP Morgans, right? The people like the JP Morgans, they don't want to see DeFi. They don't want to see decentralized finance, which is what DeFi stands for. They don't want to see that take off because they lose power. They lose control. If people are investing and putting their value in another form of money, guess what happens, right? The government's not going to like it, right? Which is why the government's going to come out with their own crypto. And then they'll tell people to put their dollars and exchange it for the digital currency. It's exactly what happened when the gold standard came down. They told everybody to return your gold for cash. They told everybody it's illegal to own gold. Now, of course, that was repealed and we can own gold once again. But the gold market is completely suppressed. Gold value is so manipulated by the government. Gold value should be through the roof right now. Gold is really the only real money. like money, cash, fiat currency in all countries, it's debt. It's our own debt. It's our debt, people. I don't want to even get into that because we're going down the rabbit hole of that. But fiat, the only reason why money is because we believe that it's money. You know, like we look at this dollar, it represents the values of America. We say this must be money. It must be worth something, right? I'm going to attach the fact that this is worth something. It's the same thing that's happening to Bitcoin right now, guys. It's the same thing. And when you see how flawed the fiat system is, and that's why I always laugh when I hear people say, oh, crypto's a Ponzi. Because I step back and I go like this. I go,
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
Because fiat is a Ponzi scheme. Because government money is a Ponzi scheme. It's one of the biggest Ponzi schemes ever created. Okay? Okay. So when you really start to explore what Bitcoin is and you understand that it's immutable, it's incorruptible, right? You can't hack it. It's an online ledger that shows everything, that there's no third party involved, right? And you really start to look at Bitcoin that way. You say, holy shit, I know there's only 21 million that has ever been created. I know that there's scarcity there. I know that it can never go more than 21 million. When you really read Satoshi's white paper, you start to understand the genius of this man, the anonymous figure, Satoshi, who created Bitcoin. And you read this white paper and you sit down and you disseminate this white paper and you understand what this guy did. And the birth of Bitcoin came literally from the 2008 financial crisis and the MBS fucking mess that happened, right? And you look at it, you say, whoa, I think we actually found a legitimate digital money. Now, what the value of it is? Free market. Free market, capitalism. It will decide based upon discussions like these. You see, this is the discussion that needs to happen. This is what you guys need to actually watch. It's very interesting to me. These discussions determine price, right? When people start to learn about it and it gets adopted, government's going to come in. I'm going to tell you right now, government is going to look at this and it's going to be one of two ways. The people that want elected that are younger, as the older generation die off, right? The younger politicians that want elected, right? And millennials start to come out in force. They're going to want to be in office. They're going to want to be elected. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of kids out there using crypto and not even involved in the stock market. They're investing in crypto. They think stocks are antiquated. Now, I love stocks. Like I will never stop investing in stocks and companies. That's my jam. I dig it. But people are investing in crypto as if it's software, which it is. You're investing in software, good ones. There's a lot of scam coins. There's a lot of shit coins out there, right? But there's some viable ones out there that have utility, that do something. The blockchains are important. The technology is important, right? And these discussions will determine value of those assets, right? But regulation needs to come into the space.
Because they can't pay salaries. And your question is, well, why don't just sell more NFTs? Well, yeah, but the NFT market is done. That boom. Remember, I did multiple videos on this topic in the past. But
it is, and also, like I saw, it's too easy to steal your crypto, says Cooper. If you take the time, Cooper, to actually look into how to store digital assets, dude, I would highly recommend Trezor or Ledger and their online wallets, their cold storage wallets. You plug them in and zap, your crypto goes in. It's never easier to store your own value. Like, this is the thing. We're taking power away from banks, right? Banks are hooked directly into politics, right? Politics and banks are looking at this industry. They're saying, holy shit, this is not good if the people have the ability to store their own value in a currency that we do not control, right? This is the crux of the issue. Crypto is like crypto that has functionality, that has use, that has value, right? It's never been scarier for banks. It's never been scarier for government that want to hold control and power, right? It is so easy if you take the time to look into this, how to store it properly, to store your own crypto. So dumb question. Where did all that money go? It just ceased to exist? I'm not quite sure, Apollo. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not quite sure what you're saying.
I showed we are up here at the euphoria stage, and now it's coming any day now. The downtrend is going to come, and I warned about this multiple times in multiple videos over the...
He was right. He was right, actually. I remember he did this video, and I think he was saying it right around the fear stage, and Montoya was like, look, here are the stages of cyclical. Here's a cycle. This is a cycle, right? And this is actually very accurate. I mean, like this in layman's terms, right? I mean, this isn't exactly every single chart out there, but like this is kind of like the vibes and the feelings of speculation. And this is exactly what happened to crypto. And honestly, I think we're right about here right now. Like where that arrow is, I think we're, again, not financial advice, but I'm pretty sure we're right around here where it returns to the mean. And we're in the despair phase. Like we're almost at that despair phase. FTX put us into despair. The crypto, and it's going to take a long time. It's literally going to take a long time to dig crypto out of this grave that it's put itself in because of FTX.
Past couple of months, and here we are at the point now where it doesn't matter what kind of pretty
Apollo.
NFT you have.
Dude.
NFT projects just are not selling like they used to. So Star Atlas may try sell some NFTs, but they just won't sell them. I've made previous videos on this topic itself, and the NFTs, the ships which Star Atlas sells, just do not sell. In fact, if you own one of them now, if you want to sell it, good luck, because you're not getting anything for it. Now, take a look at their own pages here. Excuse me. Showing what they're selling at. So
and really, it's probably never going to get back to those prices again. At least if it does, it's probably going to take a long time. Long. So I feel very sorry for people that went into this like, you know, like a bull and bought it like such premium prices, right? Because I don't know if it's ever going to get back to those prices again. And if it does, it's going to take a long time. And I feel really bad for those people.
Originally, the BYOS tank ship, which sold for $102,000. If you own one of these and you want to sell it, good luck, because you're getting $1,025. But let's go down to something cheaper, more affordable that people may have bought, which is something like the Fumble Air Bike. And I know individuals...
It actually had value because the money was in it, Apollo. You know what I'm saying? Like it was speculated to be this price, and the value was determined, or the price was determined by the people bidding on it. When you're determining what the price of an asset is, and you're on an exchange, what happens is there's a bid price and there's a sell price, right? So there's people bidding, which are the buyers, and there's people selling, which are the sellers. And it's constantly in flux. And the price between the two is the price. So that's the price, that's the value. And the reason it has that value is because people are paying it. The demand is there, right? You could say the same thing with stocks as well. It's like, well, why is Tesla $186 a share? Well, because the bid and ask, right? Because what people are on the daily saying, okay, this is what I'm going to pay for it. This is what I'm going to sell it, you know?
Who've bought this for $20 said, let me just dip my toes, see what happens. So if you bought this for $20, it was 20 back then before
There's a difference. And Ash says, trading is always gambling. Never bet more than you can lose. Always make sure it's discretionary money. But there's a difference between trading and investing, right? So if you do your due diligence and you actually research a company inside and out and you know the space, it's not so much gambling, right? Because you understand the business, you understand the forward earnings, like in terms of businesses, right? And it's not lacking in crypto. A lot of people think, oh, well, that doesn't exist in crypto. How do you properly evaluate a crypto or give it a value, determine it? You can do it in stocks because you can look at the PE, you can look at the forward multiple, you can see what the revenues are going to be, you can listen to the calls, you can see what it is that they expect to make, you can take their PE, you can multiply it by that, and you can figure out, okay, this is what they're expected to make. The share price should be somewhere around here. That's what financial analysts do. Okay, that's the job of financial analysts. There's a lot of, we call them analysts. A lot of traders like myself, we call them analysts. It's a joke. Just saying. It's a funny one to this day. But you can also do that with cryptocurrencies. Some cryptocurrencies that publish their white papers properly, that show you the breakdown, right? And if you find a cryptocurrency that has a good white papers, you can do something we call in the industry tokenomics, and you can figure out value based upon the tokenomics, right? So just so you guys know about value, it's a good conversation to have. Apologies if I'm a little preachy or verbose, but it's an area that very, very much so interests me, and I would like to think I'm knowledgeable in this space.
Yeah, prices went even lower. You can get $1.56, right?
Whew.
So if you bought this ship for $20, you can now sell it for $1.56. Well, even if there's buyers there, I don't even know if there's people willing to buy this at all. And it goes on 99% discount,
hey,
89% discount, 88% discount. Everything is, no one is buying this stuff. No one is buying this stuff, which is devastating. Because if Star Atlas wants to try to save the company, how do they do it? They have to find investors at the point. But will an investor want to touch this? And here's the problem. If they were an established gaming company with a proven track record, maybe they can find an investor saying, look, this is what we're doing. This is what we've done. And I've said it does look promising. I mean, it does look promising. It does look impressive what they've done with Unreal 5. It is very cool. It's a very good looking engine.
Yeah.
And the things
we saw the assets. We saw this trailer at Breakpoint. You saw me dancing to it. You saw me having a good time. And that literally was like 2 days before Star Atlas announced this. And in my Discord, everybody's like, Star Atlas is dead. Star Atlas is dead. Star Atlas is dead. And obviously, like, Montoya is doing a little bit better than I thought he was going to do, because the title was Rip Star Atlas. And I really thought it was going to be clickety-clackety. But so far, Montoya has been very objective on this, and I like this. This is good. This is good. He did not break my faith. Like, I actually dig Montoya. I think he's actually quite objective. I think he gets falsely labeled White Knight in Star Citizen quite often. He does call Cloud Imperium out when they F up, same as I do. I've been called a White Knight lately in Star Citizen, which is ridiculous. Like I've been following this since 2014. Trust me, I've been very vocal when I feel Cloud Imperium's effed up. So, it is nice to see that he's actually taken time out to acknowledge the fact that there's some assets here, that they're creating things. Like, this is actually a company that's creating things. Like you saw Scam Citizen for how long, right? Now the pressure off Star Citizen because we have Star Atlas. So there's a lot of people now who are like Scam Atlas, took the pressure off Star Citizen. So thank you. Thank you, Star Atlas, for taking that pressure.
See here do look very nice, but just because you can make pretty graphics, just because you can make a metaverse, just because you can create the levels or get ship designs, design pretty ships, doesn't mean the actual game you make at the end is going to be a fun game people want to play.
I agree.
So I don't know what they plan on doing here. I think they've got a very, very tough road ahead of themselves. Also, they own tokens, which have just gone down the drain, and we've spoken about this in the past. Highs around 20 cents for the token they have, and down, where is it now? At 0.002. Just zoom into what happened this past week. And this is just the past week. It went from 0.004, cut in half. Which is devastating for their own internal economy, if one does exist at all at this point. So very, very bad news.
Thanks for being here today, dude.
Look, it's very sad. This is Metaverse Explorer. He's one of the content creators who works making his content around Star Atlas and
my Star Atlas family. This is I'm kind of like lost for words at the moment.
Poor guy. I feel for him. There's a lot of people who saw potential in this.
I don't think it's dead,
I don't blame them. It does look great. My concern.
Here's the thing. It's only as much as dead as they're out of money. Like, really, we don't know. We don't know because they're not exposing their balance sheets. So, like, I'm not going to call Star Atlas dead yet. I would say they're on the ropes, though. I would say they're on the ropes, and they better figure out how to make money ASAP.
Concern was not, can they make a game? My concern was, even if they do make the game, will that game be fun? Because we've seen plenty of well-established game developing companies make a game which flops, right? So there's a lot of things. There's a big uphill battle that to climb right from the beginning. But this is just heartbreaking hearing what he had to say.
I don't know what to say.
Wow.
It's like huge.
Yeah, especially if you invested at 20
Anyway,
cents.
I don't want to put through all that. Obviously, he's devastated. This is
Which
very
they
troubling.
started doing. Kiss says the ironic thing is that if they'd spent all their time talking to gamers rather than finance people, they could switch to a Star Citizen model and charge for the ships in the game. But because all their vids have been about finance stuff, yeah, like lately they've been going the right direction, Kiss. Like lately on their channel, and I think it's because I would like to think again that they do listen to this channel and the people on this channel, because I would like to think we're very objective on the game, and they actually take the time to listen to us, because I noticed that they're actually making content now that is much more gamer focused, you know. So interesting.
Troubling for where Star Atlas is going, and I don't want to be too much of a pessimist.
I feel bad for people that invested in this at like 20 cents. My God, it's what did he say? What did Montoya say? 0.002 cents now. Pfft. Yeah, I listen. It's a space that's going to take a long time. It's a space that's going to take a long time to develop, and the value of those tokens, who knows? I don't know if gaming tokens are going to go up like mad like they did this time around on the next bull run. I feel more like the level 1 chains, like the level 1 DeFi chains. If anything's going to go up, it's going to be those on the next bull run. But who knows? Who knows? The Web3 gaming space tokens might go up as well.
And say that this is it. This is basically
Right.
Star Atlas is done.
Butts.
They may find an investor somewhere. I don't know who is willing to jump in and bail out Star Atlas. But I will say some nice things, and I'll repeat this because I've said this before. I said out of all the play to earn NFT type gaming projects,
We're going to say play to own. Play to own.
Star Atlas was head and shoulders above everyone else. They were far beyond what anyone else was trying to do even. And for that, I gave them credit. But to see it go down this way and basically get the rug pulled from below them, and this is the CEO.
Which is quite irresponsible. We read this here, and I feel like it's quite irresponsible that they held money on the FTX exchange, did nothing about it to back that up. But they did believe in it. They did believe in FTX. Solana and FTX were like this. This is why Solana's getting hit so bad. Hopefully Solana can divorce itself from FTX to the point where it can still exist, right? But a lot of the people who are developing on the Solana blockchain, they knew Solana was tied with FTX. So they were like, hey, you know, obviously we're going to invest in Solana. We're going to invest in FTX. And we saw what happened to FTX. Hopefully Solana can survive. I personally think that Solana will survive, not financial advice. That's just my opinion. But it's going to take a hit. It's going to take a hit.
Wagner writing a long post there explaining what the story was and what the
Everybody's
situation
been
is,
hit in
and
this
it's
market,
not
by the
good.
way. You know?
I'm skeptical about their ability
Stock
to
market,
find
crypto market,
funding from a
everybody's been
private
hit
investor
right
or
now.
otherwise at this point in time.
The Fed
we're
is
in
making
full-blown bear market in crypto.
demand
No one's rushing out to buy
thing of the
anything
past.
crypto-related, and no one's rushing out to buy anything NFT-related. Sure, there's still the blue-chip NFTs like the apes, which are still doing well, by the way. But NFT spaceships, yeah, that is not going to work out well.
Listen,
and
I have to say this, and this is going to be odd for coming from me, but the Fed does have to do something about inflation, and the only tool they have at their disposal is raising the federal funds rate, which is basically, I think we're almost near 5% now. I think it's at like 4.75%. I think the federal funds rate is almost near 5%. I think they're going to increase it past 5%. And like really, with inflation as it is, I think inflation's what is inflation reported at? Are we at 7-ish? I think we're at 7% inflation, which is a lie. I mean, like really inflation's way higher than that. You know, like all these ways in which we measure things are so antiquated right now. I mean, the data is so backwards looking. It's like three months old sometimes in certain measurement scenarios. But the only thing they have to fight inflation with is the federal funds rate. And when they raise that federal funds rate, the cost of money is increased, right? And what happens? It's the funnel. It's like pulling the plug on a bathtub. They printed all this money. The government printed over the 200 years of the amount of money that we have created, right? In 1 year, they created half of it when COVID came in. They just printed half of the entire supply of money that was ever printed in the United States of America, right? They printed half of that amount when the pandemic hit. Like, so of course, when you have that much money hit and just rains cash on you, right? Everybody's got cash, man. Everybody's speculating it. Everybody had the cash to make this shit pump, right? And that's because the Fed funds rate was at 0%, right? And this is a game that the Fed plays. This is the game the Fed plays with fiat. This is how they keep everybody in their proper place, and they keep their control at the very top. This is what they do. And now they decided to pull the rug from everybody. So they're raising the interest rate. They have to. Look, I went to the grocery store the other day and I spent like $150 on vegetables. I was like, dude, I had some grapes, some apples. I'm eating healthy, by the way. I've lost a lot of weight. I would like to give myself some applause for that. I've lost almost 30 pounds. Thank you. Thank you. I went to the store. I went to get healthy foods. Okay? I went to the grocery store. I got apples. I got lettuce, zucchini, squash, some spring mix, some vinaigrette. Okay? By the time I was done with my healthy shopping, I spent, thank you. Okay, thank you. But by the time I was done, I was like, holy shit, I just spent $150 on fruits and vegetables. What is going on? It's called inflation. And really, it's a scary thing. Inflation is a very scary thing. Inflation can run away. Inflation can get very, very bad. And yes, in order to keep this Ponzi scheme going, the government has to increase that Fed funds rate. They have to get inflation under control. That is their number one priority. I'm glad they are focused on it, but it's just sad what's happening because it is. It's like pulling the plug out of the bathtub, and what happens is all that money supply, everything, value, everything, demand goes right down the hole. And as it's going down, people start buying the dip. They go, oh, well, this is great. Woo, 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 woo. I'm going to throw some money in until people have no more money. And that's what's happening. So be very careful in the markets right now. 2022, my motto is this. And the reason why you see listen, I have a trading channel. I'm going to tell you something right now. And I should have, mea culpa. Hold on one second. I'm going to show you guys my trading channel. Okay. And I want you to see something very interesting here. Okay. Okay. All right. Look, I have not posted a video in 11 months. Now, would you like to ask me why? Would you like to ask me why I haven't posted a video in 11 months? And I should have put a video out, and I apologize. I should have put a video out to everybody saying that cash is king. I haven't put a video out in 11 months, and this was the top of the market. Like, interestingly enough, I really should have put a video out here. I started to smell it. When I started to smell the Fed wanted to raise rates, I said, oh, shit. There we go. Now, I should have pulled some money out. I should have done the smart thing and exited. Now, in some positions, I did, and I saved my ass. On other positions, I didn't, and I'm burnt, and I'm wrecked, and I'm holding, right? And I have to hold. I've become an investor on a lot of things I didn't want to become an investor on. This is called DG trades, not DG investing. Right? But I haven't made a video in 11 months. And the reason I haven't made a video in 11 months because I smelled it and I knew it was coming. I felt it coming. I just felt it coming. And the motto that I have for 2022 is cash is king. Okay? Right now, just hold cash. Yes, your cash is depreciating in value. I want to say your cash is depreciating by 7% a year, but I might be wrong about that. So, it's really hard to figure out what to do. It's really hard to figure out what to do right now. But for me, in 2022, cash is king. I'm holding cash. I'm not putting money in anything. till I feel like we've adequately got inflation under control, till there's some type. And that chart that he showed where it goes way up and then way down and crashes, right? And you see that despair only happens when people stop buying the dip because they have no more money. In fact, that despair happens when people start selling assets at a loss and have no more money. Okay? That's called capitulation. Traders, we look for capitulation. Capitulation day is a fun day for traders. Capitulation day is a fun day for investors. Capitulation day is not a fun day for the average Joe American or anybody in the world. Capitulation day is not a fun day for people who don't know what the fuck is going on, because capitulation day is the day where most everybody sells everything they have because they need the cash. That is when you go in. Not financial advice, just my opinion. Okay? And how do you know when capitulation day is? Look at the volume on any chart, on any stock, on any crypto. When you see a bar the size of your whole screen, that is capitulation day.
Reading what the CEO has to say there, he goes at the second last paragraph. Over the course of this week, we've reached out to all available relationships within our network to communicate our strategy on capital acquisition. We have formulated a strategy, prepared presentation materials, etc. And apparently there is an investor kit which was out there, and that itself was leaked somewhere. I don't have access to it. If someone does have that investor kit, I'm curious to see what it says. But there also are dire issues in that. And what I suspect happens next is a lot of people will be laid off. 233 team members he lists there in a recent video. That's going to be chopped down to a skeleton crew. Yep. I think you're going to see this chopped down to the 10, 15 mostly critical people in the company. Everything else is on hold. No one else gets paid. And they may try to push something out.
But if they survive the bear market, that means they're resilient and they can make it. Now, see, this is why markets need, and I hate to say this because there's a lot of people hurt, but this is why bear markets are important. Bear markets strip you down till you're naked, and they say, can you survive? Can you do it? We're going to shove you out in the cold naked. Your bum, your ass out there freezing. Can you survive? Can you do it? It's like survival games at its best. Bear markets take every company out there, and they say, are you full of bullshit? Or are you actually somebody, right? Because a bear market is going to separate the winners from the losers. And bear markets are important because it flushes out the BS.
You know, they may try to push out some module to show that there's still potential. At the end of the day, there are still an indie game dev. They might find someone who's interested. But the risks at this point to try fund something of the scope which he's trying to do is troubling. I don't see a way out. If there is, I hope they find it. Maybe they find some kind of angel investor to bail them out on this, but I'm skeptical, especially during the bear market. I hate to say it, but this might be it. This might be
could be
the end of what we've known as Star Atlas. And hats off to them, because I think they really tried to do something very, very special. They tried to get it done. I had my doubts all along. Not for the reasons you thought. I never thought this would be the reason.
That's the reason.
But
that's the reason right there. And when you expose bad actors in the space, the entire space takes a hit. This clown right here is the reason. And you know what? This had to happen. It was an independent reporter that reported the balance sheet was fishy. It was somebody on Twitter that reported it. It wasn't New York Times. It wasn't any big news outlet. It wasn't Reuters. It wasn't Bloomberg, right? It wasn't all these guys that were connected to Sam Bankman-Fried. It wasn't any of them. Of course it wasn't, because they're all like chummy with this guy. They were all chummy with this guy. Hell, even Gary Gensler, SEC head, even Gary Gensler was chummy with this dude. Had meetings with him, talked with him, right? This guy found his way into the inner circles, Got everybody who had money chummy with him. None of the major news outlets ever reported anything. It was a dude on Twitter, right? This is the power. This is the power I think that's going to happen in Twitter, because Twitter is not owned now by any major news outlet or anybody affiliated with it. It's owned by Elon Musk. And he's like, hey, it is what it is. You guys want to read about it? It can be here. The truth can be found here. Interestingly enough, it was a guy on Twitter that exposed this guy.
But here we are, and I guess it's just the black swan, something people didn't consider.
Not an Elon Musk.
And yeah, I hate to say it, but let's see what happens. Hey, maybe they find an investor, maybe they can continue, maybe the game does end up coming out in some form, way, or shape. We don't know. But for now, that's pretty much it, I think. Very sad to say, and I hope anyone involved in it didn't get hurt too badly.
Here's the thing. They said they have 9 months of capital left. Like, they said it. But here's what I want you to do now. Michael Wagner, I know you watch, okay? Here's what I want you to do now. I want you to be transparent, okay? I want you to be transparent. Don't be a Sam Bankman-Fried, Michael Wagner. Don't be a Sam Bankman-Fried, okay? You need to tell us what's on the balance sheet. You need to expose the balance sheet. You need to be transparent. It's the only way you're going to gain trust back. It's the only way anybody in this space is going to gain trust back. The only cryptocurrencies that are going to make this are those that are the most transparent, that their white papers show everything there is to show. These are the only cryptos that are going to make this winter. This winter is going to be long and cruel and hard. And the only people that are going to survive are the people that actually are transparent, know what they're doing, are building great technology, are building great games. And they make smart moves. They make smart business moves. Michael did not make a smart business move. Smart business move right now, Michael, shows what's on the balance sheet, dude. All right, Montoya, I'm going to like that. I like that Montoya approached this objectively. And I agree with a lot of his points. I actually do. I don't think they're dead. I don't think they're dead yet, but they have to be smarter. Michael, you don't have very much time left, dude. You have to be smarter. Be transparent. Show us the balance sheet. Make smart business moves. You might survive this. You might.